In today's world, there are so many choices when it comes to finding the perfect career. But it seems many people have gone through many choices but still haven't found the perfect one. Others were more lucky and persistent and found their dream career. Today, when we come back, we'll be talking to one of these lucky people and figuring out how they went about finding their dream career. Hi, my name is William Buller, and the career that you choose is one of the most important decisions of your life. So you have to make sure you pick the perfect one for you. Today, I'm here with Edward Buller, my dad, who has pursued many careers to find the perfect one for him. So Dad, what were some of the careers that you went through before you found the perfect one?
When I was in high school, I worked as a food vendor at the US Open. And then after that, I went to college. As I was in college, I was a personal trainer and worked at a gym. And then after college, I worked as a stockbroker. And then I went into teaching. And then after teaching, I became a fireman, which is what I currently do now.
So Dad, as you said, your first job that you worked at was at a concession stand at the US Open. So let's watch a quick video saying kind of what working at a concession stand kind of like is.
Stand, like the one you see behind me, is a place where you can buy food at a sporting event or a big concert. In the United States, we usually have nachos, hot dogs, big drinks, all kinds of stuff. I'm Andrea with ESL Basics.
So as you said, at this point, you're still in high school. So would you say that you being in high school still like kind of influenced the job that you had at the time, which was the concession stand?
Well, at that point, really the only reason that I became a person that worked at a concession stand was because I wanted to make money, and that was a job that became available to me through someone I knew. So really it was just to have money to be able to go do things with my friends and to have some spending money.
Yeah. So Dad, did you know that the lifetime hours of a job are 90,000, which most people spend in a job or workplace that they just don't like? So would you say that the concession stand gave you like satisfaction and happiness, or did you like not personally like it?
The value that it gave me was learning how to hold a job and to make some money. There was nice people that I worked with and people that I got along with, but generally speaking, I think it showed me that this was probably not something I would have wanted to do when I was an adult. So it actually helped me to rule out something for when I got older, because I never really had a passion for working in the food service industry.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you realized that that job wasn't for you. So you decided to try a new one in college, which was a personal trainer. So let's watch a quick video about personal training.
The value people should get from a personal trainer is to motivate them past the point where they would stop on their own. Now, a lot of people can get a video. They're working by themselves in isolation. There's nobody there to really motivate them. That's where I come in. If you could do 10 reps, you're gonna do 12 with me. And you come back for more. A personal trainer is supposed to know technique and form and how to do exercises safely and effectively. I'm very cognizant of what people's abilities are. My job is to get them closer and closer to their goal, so one day they reach their goal and set new ones. That's what separates the good from the great. The great, your clients say, "You killed me today," but they say it with a smile and they come back.
So at this point, when you were a personal trainer, you, as you said at the beginning, you were in college, and they make approximately $25 to $100 per hour, depending on, I guess, your experience that you have as a personal trainer. So at the time, like, did the money that this job gave you, like, kind of get you through college?
Well, again, this was a job that gave me enough money to have spending money in college. It obviously, or for me, it didn't pay for college. I was using college loans to get through college, but it definitely helped me to buy books and to get food and do things of that nature with it. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we will talk more about being a personal trainer after this short ad break.
assistant. Very funny. $1,30,000 and senior regional manager.
Happy?
Indeed.
Welcome back to Career Choices. I'm your host, William Buller, with our guest, my dad, back about personal training and trainers. So, Dad, what exactly were the steps that you had to go through to get the job as a trainer? Like, what type of certifications or stuff like that did you need in order to get the job?
So I did need to pass a certification test to become a personal trainer. After I passed that test, I went to a gym near where I was living and I applied for a job there, and then that's how I got my foot in the door of personal training. So you do need to take a test and to pass it to become one.
So what were some of the reasons behind why you quit being a personal trainer?
Well, after I graduated college, even though I enjoyed being a personal trainer, and a big part of why I was into that field was that I wanted to learn for my own benefit how to take care of myself and not to have to pay for a personal trainer. So it was really to save a couple bucks in that way. But I realized that was probably not a job that was going to be able to support me in the way that I wanted to after college. I wanted a job with more stability and with more benefits. So that's why I moved on to a different career path.
So after this realization, you wanted to switch your career again, and you chose a stockbroker. So let's see a short clip about some of the responsibilities that they have.
A stockbroker is a professional who executes buy and sell orders on behalf of the clients. They don't make investments on your behalf. Instead, they just implement your investment decisions. If you want them to buy Apple at $230 per share, they'll execute the buy order for you. If you want them to sell Apple automatically when it rises to $300, they'll also do it for you. What they don't do is they don't do the investment analysis for you. Stockbrokers are not investment analysts. They don't do the analysis for you, and they really just execute your decisions. You have to do that on your own to determine which stocks to buy.
So being a stockbroker doesn't seem like it's an easy task. So what certification did you need to be one?
Well, the certification that you need to sell stocks is the Series 7. So that was another test that I had to study for and pass to be able to execute the trade orders at the company that I worked at. I worked at a day trading firm, so it was basically executing orders for people who were buying and selling stocks on their computers, and sometimes they would need, if their computer system went down or their internet went down, they would need me to execute their orders for them. And I also did trades for different people that were in the office that I worked and executed those orders as well.
Did you know that 80% of the jobs are secured by networking and not actually sending out resumes? So in order to get this job, were you sending out resumes to people, or did you know somebody in the company that you knew, so you got hired that way?
Actually, how I got this job was that I knew someone that worked at the company from college. He was in my fraternity, and he was able to get my foot in the door at this company, and that's what led to me working there for a few years and getting my Series 7.
While being a stockbroker, obviously some challenges faced you that influenced you to move on. What were some of these challenges that forced you or influenced you to move on?
Well, in the financial field, and especially when you're executing stock orders, there's a lot of pressure. You're handling other people's money. There's a lot of emotions involved, and to be honest, that wasn't really what my passion was, and I knew it probably within of the first year or so that I was there, that this probably wasn't going to be what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. But at the time, I was 22 and I wanted to make money, so there was an allure to making a lot of money that made me stick it out, I guess, for a little bit to see maybe if this was something that that I could pursue for a longer period of time. But it ended up not fulfilling those needs for me.
So basically the reason why you left the company is like because of like the stress and pressure, would you say?
Well, it was the stress and pressure of handling other people's money, and all the issues that came with that.
Well, after you left being a stockbroker, you became a teacher, right?
Yes, I became a teacher. After that, I thought that being a teacher actually fulfilled some of my things that I really enjoyed, which was working with children, and it was always something that I felt like I had a talent for, is connecting with younger people, and obviously teaching lent itself to that, and that's what made me decide to move to that career path.
So did you like become a teacher because of like genuine like a passion towards it, or was it more towards like money and like what influence?
It was more of a passion towards wanting to work with children and helping children. Initially, I thought I wanted to be more of a school psychologist or a school counselor, and the more research I did, I realized that the schooling that I had in Oneonta, where I went to college, didn't really lend itself to being a psychologist. I would have had to really get another degree to get me into that field. So teaching got me in front of kids. When I was teaching in the Bronx, you were fulfilling a lot of different roles for the kids that I was working with, kids that needed a positive role model in their life. So that definitely gave me fulfillment at that time in my life when I was working with them.
So in order to become a teacher, what type of like qualifications did you need, like certifications and stuff? Because I'm sure some people out there want to be a teacher and they're probably wondering a little bit, what exactly do they need to become one?
Well, I needed my bachelor's degree and to become a substitute teacher. So that's really how I got my foot in the door with teaching, is that I had that bachelor's degree. And then as I was subbing, I eventually got a permanent substitute job. And once you secure that type of job, there was more security in it, but I still needed to go get my master's in elementary education to be a teacher. So I ended up going back to school as I was a permanent sub and getting my master's. And then once I did that, I was able to secure a certification in teaching from New York.
So let's just watch a quick little video real quick about like kind of like what is like about being a teacher and like what they do.
I think there's two main things that teachers are responsible for. One of those things is obviously getting the material across to the students. I think the second thing that's just as important is helping these students and these kids grow up to be young adults. Teaching them those life skills and those life lessons.
The role of a teacher in a student's life is to actually get them to be problem solvers. I think the content is important, but I think they need to learn how to solve problems.
History is a story, and if you can get them hooked on the story and how all the pieces and puzzle parts fit together, then they're going to be interested in it.
My favorite teachers are great at making the content in class relatable and making it applicable to the real world.
So Dad, I know that you worked as a teacher in the Bronx. So do you think that video accurately describes of like how being a teacher went there, or was it different?
No, I think the video definitely touches on the most important roles of a teacher, which is to teach kids the subject that you're trying to get across to them, but also to teach them how to be problem solvers in the world. I liked what that woman said in the video regarding being a problem solver, and basically as a teacher you're just trying to show your students how to navigate this world, not only through teaching them the subject matter, but also by giving them life skills to navigate this world.
So after this short ad break, we will continue talking about teacher and the wonders of finding careers.
And here it is, the moment you realize you might be ready for something new, something better. Well, guess what? You can do anything.
Who? Me?
Yes, you. Look, you can get a Master's of Public Health from Michigan and start a nonprofit, pumping goodness and positivity into the world, like some kind of beautiful Pegasus of hope. Or get a new Python certificate from Google and write code so amazing that tech wizards would be like, wow, that's some amazing code. Maybe take some paleobiology courses and spend a little quality time with some dinosaur bones. Whatever you're into, you can do it. Let's rise to our giant goals and fly. See you later, Sheena. We're on to new and better things. With over 5,000 courses and degrees from world-class institutions on Coursera. Learn without limits.
Welcome back to Career Choices. I'm William Bowler with our guest, Edward Bowler, my dad, and we will continue to talk about my dad's experience teaching. So, Dad, what drew you towards leaving your job at being a teacher and choosing your final career as a firefighter? Because it seemed like you were into it because, you had like good reasoning on wanting to be one, wanting to connect with kids and teach them and have a positive impact on their life.
Well, when I first began teaching as a substitute, right in the beginning actually, 9/11 happened and I was living in the city, and sadly I lost 2 friends that were firemen during that time. So that really sparked something in me that never was there. I didn't grow up thinking that I wanted to be a firefighter. I never really even thought of it as an adult until that moment, and so that led me to taking the fireman written test, and then there was also a physical test that you had to do well on to be able to be a fireman. So that really was what happened, but because it takes years even after you take the test, it takes 3 or 4 years by the time they process you to become a fireman. I couldn't just sit and wait to be a firefighter. So I continued to pursue teaching as if it was going to be my career, because there was no guarantees that the firefighting career was going to even happen. After you get called, there's also different medical tests that they put you through and psychological tests, and if they don't feel that you're fit to be a fireman, then you don't get the job. So again, as a person who had just gotten married, was planning on starting a family, I needed to consider the fact that being a fireman might not work out. So that's what led me to just continue pursuing teaching and getting my master's, as if teaching was going to be what my end career was. So that's what happened.
I never really realized how much actually went into becoming a firefighter. I thought that it was always just like, you take the test and then you're a firefighter. So let's just watch, I guess, a quick video on about being a firefighter.
Courage, strength, and a cool head under pressure are some of the most important qualities needed by firefighters. Firefighters control and put out fires and respond to crisis situations where life and the environment are at risk. Firefighters enter burning buildings to extinguish fires and rescue people, sometimes carrying them. They connect hoses to hydrants, operate pumps, climb ladders, and use other tools to break through debris. The majority of calls they receive are for medical emergencies, so many firefighters also provide medical attention. Some firefighters clean up hazardous materials, such as oil spills and chemical accidents, while others are specially trained to control forest fires. Most firefighters work for local governments. Some work for federal and state governments or at airports, chemical plants, or other industrial sites. Volunteer firefighters serve the same roles as paid firefighters and account for a large portion of the workforce in this field. Firefighter schedules are typically on duty at the fire station for 24 hours at a time, then off for 48 to 72 hours. Wildland firefighters may work for extended periods to get a forest fire under control. Firefighters have one of the highest rates of injuries and illnesses of all occupations. They must wear heavy, hot protective gear.
So, Dad, obviously you think that this is your perfect career because you've been sticking to it for 20-something years now. So why do you think that this was the perfect career for you? And what advice would you give to somebody who is thinking about, starting and becoming a firefighter in the future?
Well, the first thing I want to say is this was definitely the right career for me. I think the word perfect is not the right word, just because even as much as I love being a fireman, there are parts of it, as the video described, that it's dangerous. It's not great for your health. And as I've almost 19 years now as a firefighter, I see some of the effects of doing this job for this many years. So, but that being said, I would not have traded those years in for any other career. It was definitely a job that I had a passion for, that I felt like really that I was being directed to that job, not by myself. Just I do believe that God was drawing me to that job, and so for me it did fulfill me over the years. And as far as people that are interested in becoming a fireman, I mean, one of the most important parts is being in good physical shape. You need to make sure you're going to the gym and doing cardio exercises to make sure that you can handle wearing all that gear. And there's stairs that need to be climbed in certain areas. There's tall buildings where you would need to get to fires that are on upper floors, and that's probably one of the most tiring parts of the job, and excruciating. And like I said, mentally you just need to make sure that you're meant for a job that is going to put you under high stress for many of the days that you go into work.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dad, I want to thank you for coming out today and sharing your story about your different careers. And what advice would you give to a high schooler right now that is trying to find the career for them? Because obviously you have some experience trying to find it.
Well, some people seem at younger ages to know what they want to do, and if they have a passion, they should stick to it. For other people that might have a lot of different interests, which was how I was when I was in high school, I think the real best thing to do is to just pursue things as if you feel like for me, like I said, I thought that personal training was going to be a job that I would have loved to do, so I tried it out and I did it, and I saw what it really looked like to perform that job, and then you get to make an educated decision on whether or not this is something that you want to do for a long period of time. But another part is that you're not tied to any career for your whole life. Like when I worked as a stockbroker, it was only 2 years, and I remember I was 23 years old, and for some reason I thought that I couldn't switch. There was a time where I was saying I'd already invested all this time, I'd taken this test, but that couldn't have been further from the truth. You have your whole life to make changes. You could go back to school. Really nothing is stopping you except for yourself. Mm-hmm. So just pursue your goals and your dreams, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Again, I want to thank you for coming on to the show again, and I think we could all agree that the career is one of the most important decisions that you will ever make. And I believe my dad is living proof that if you keep on persisting and trying to find the perfect career for you, you will find one. My name is William Bowler with my guest Edward Bowler, and remember to do what makes you happy in life and to find your perfect career choice.